If you're someone who manages complex projects, intricate portfolios, maybe even entire global teams, you approach your work with data.
Right.
KPIs, risk calculations, strategic planning.
Absolutely. Every asset is managed strategically.
But then what happens when it comes to managing your most critical asset? Your own body, your physical engine.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? So many of us just revert to this chaotic, more is better mentality. It's all willpower and guesswork.
It's the ultimate irony. You'd never run a business without analyzing the projected return. But the machine that powers everything else, we just wing it.
Well, today, that's what we're here to fix. We're going to provide that analytical framework for your physiology.
Okay, let's do it. Today we are diving deep into heart rate zone strategy, and we're using the really precise guide from Sundride as our roadmap.
And the mission is clear. We want to turn your training from, blindly throwing darts at a board into a laser-guided system.
A system where every single heartbeat counts toward a specific goal.
That's the key. It shifts the entire conversation away from that vague, just work hard advice to something structured and, frankly, much more effective. Your BPM, your beats per minute, becomes the data that drives every single session.
And the return on investment, the ROI here, is huge. Sundride highlights 3 major returns that should really click with our listeners. The first one is precision.
Right, which basically means you finally avoid that wasteful middle ground effort, that so-called gray zone.
And second, sustainability. This one feels critical.
Oh, it is. By knowing your limits on easy days, you prevent that cumulative fatigue, you avoid burnout, and you sidestep the injuries that just derail everything.
And the third one, which I think is the most satisfying part for anyone who loves data, is data-driven progress.
This is the ultimate KPI for your engine. When you see your heart rate drop while you're holding the exact same pace,
That's it.
that is tangible proof that your cardiovascular system has become more efficient. You've literally upgraded the machine.
So let's start by calibrating the dashboard. We need to understand the essential metrics before we can even talk about zones.
Exactly. And the most important thing to get is that heart rate is an internal input metric. It's not like your pace or the power you're putting out, which are external outputs.
So it's measuring the stress on the system, not just what the system is doing.
Precisely. And by controlling that input, you get to choose which energy system your body uses, whether it's burning fat, clearing waste, or pushing intensity.
Okay, metric 1, resting heart rate, or RHR, the engine at idle.
And a lower RHR is, well, almost always better. It suggests a more efficient heart, one that has a higher stroke volume. It can pump more blood with fewer beats.
We see pro athletes with RHRs in the 40s or even lower, while the standard range for most adults is, 60 to 100.
Yeah, it's a huge range. And the actionable tip here from Sundride is so important. Measure it first thing in the morning, before coffee, before you even get out of bed.
Because that gives you your true unstressed baseline. And what's the warning signal we're looking for?
It's your body's early warning system. If you see an unexpected spike, say 5 or more beats higher than your baseline for a couple of mornings in a row,
Uh-oh.
that's your body whispering to you. It's saying, hey, I'm either about to get sick or you are pushing me way too hard. It's a data-driven signal to back off.
Okay, next up, maximum heart rate, MHR, the red line. Now, everyone has heard 220 minus your age.
Yes. And for anyone serious about this, it is a woefully blunt instrument.
How far off can it be?
For a trained athlete, it can be off by 10, sometimes 12 beats per minute, which is
massive.
Yeah.
If your MHR is wrong by 12 beats, every single one of your training zones will be wrong.
you're aiming at the wrong target entirely. A slightly better estimate is the Tanaka formula. That's 208 minus 0.7 times your age.
Better, but still just an estimate based on age.
Exactly. To get real-world accurate data, you have to do a field test, a maximal 5K finish, all-out hell sprints, something that truly pushes you to your absolute limit.
But even with an accurate MHR, just taking a percentage of that number is still a bit imprecise, isn't it?
It is, because it ignores your current fitness level, and that's where the gold standard comes in, the Carvonen method.
Okay, explain heart rate reserve HRR.
Think about it like a budget. Your MHR is your total potential revenue, but your RHR is your fixed operating cost. The Carvonen formula looks at the difference between the two. That's your heart rate reserve. It's your actual working capacity.
So the calculation isn't a percentage of the total ceiling. It's a percentage of the usable space between the floor and the ceiling.
Precisely. The formula is max HR minus resting HR times your target intensity plus your resting HR. And this is so powerful because as you get fitter, your resting HR drops.
Which means your heart rate reserve gets bigger.
Right. So the formula automatically adjusts your zones upwards. It's a dynamic system that gets smarter as you get fitter.
Okay, now that we have the math for precision, let's talk strategy. I like the analogy of the 5 heart rate zones as different gears in a car.
Let's run through them.
Zone 1, active recovery. This is 50 to 60%. The feel here is super easy. Like you could hold a conference call at this pace.
The purpose is just to promote blood flow and flush out metabolic waste without adding any new stress. It's critical for active rest days.
Then we shift up to zone 2, 60 to 70%. Sun-Dried calls this the endurance foundation. This is where the magic happens.
It really is. The feel is light, fully conversational. You should be able to speak in complete sentences without any trouble.
But the strategy here is what's so brilliant. This is the zone that triggers something called mitochondrial biogenesis.
You are literally building more tiny energy factories inside your muscle cells. And, just as important, you're teaching your body to get incredibly good at burning fat for fuel.
Which is the ultimate efficiency upgrade. But here's the challenge that the guide points out, especially for high achievers.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
It feels too slow.
It is the single biggest mental hurdle. We're conditioned to think that if we're not dripping with sweat and gasping for air, it's not a productive workout.
Right. To actually slow down or even walk when your watch beeps that you've gone over 145 BPM, that takes some serious ego suppression.
But you have to trust the process. This slow, steady work is the foundation that all your top-end speed is built upon. Without it, you're building a skyscraper on sand.
Okay, up a gear to zone 3, 70 to 80%. This is that infamous gray zone.
The land of wasted effort.
Conversation here becomes broken sentences. What's the risk of spending too much time here?
It's just costly. It's too hard to be true recovery, so you build up a lot of fatigue, but it's not hard enough to trigger the top-end adaptations you get from zones 4 and 5.
So you just end up tired for no real reason?
Pretty much. You get marginally faster, but at a huge cost. Zone 3 should be used strategically for a specific tempo run, not as your default medium effort.
Then we get to the real work. Zone 4, 80 to 90%. Threshold. The feeling is comfortably uncomfortable.
Yeah, conversation is limited to 1 or 2 words. Yes. No. Water.
And the strategy here?
This is all about raising your anaerobic threshold. That's the point where lactic acid builds up faster than your body can clear it. Training here improves that clearance system so you can hold a faster pace for much, much longer.
And finally, zone 5.
90 to 100%. All out. Maximal effort. Lungs are burning. Talking is impossible. This is pure speed, pure power. It's for VO2 max expansion. These are your short, sharp shocks to the system. HIIT. Sprints.
Okay, so we have the strategy, but it's all useless if the data's bad. Sun-Dried puts it perfectly. Garbage in, garbage out. Let's talk tech.
This is a big one. If you are serious about hitting those zone 4 and 5 intervals with precision, you really need a chest strap monitor.
So my fancy watch isn't good enough.
It's not that it's not good. It's just different. Optical wrist monitors are great for 247 tracking and for lower intensity stuff. But during intense intervals with sweat and movement, they suffer from data lag. They can be slow to react.
And why is the chest strap the gold standard?
Because it's measuring the heart's actual electrical signal, an ECG. It's not looking at blood flow in your capillaries. The response is instantaneous. For a 30-second sprint, you need that instant feedback.
But let's be realistic. Do I need to strap that thing on for a gentle zone 2 run?
That's a fair point. No, probably not. For your steady, low-intensity work, a good wrist monitor is usually fine. But you should always have a subjective backup system.
The old school rate of perceived exertion.
Yeah.
The RPE scale.
And the talk test. It's the simplest way to keep your tech honest. On an easy zone 2 day, you should be able to recite a paragraph out loud. If you can't, you're going too hard no matter what your watch says.
And on a hard zone 4 day.
You shouldn't be able to get out more than yes or no. Simple as that.
Let's zoom out to the long game again. We're not just training for a race next month. This is about building an engine for life.
Yeah.
What are the deep physiological changes happening here?
Well, we mentioned the mitochondrial biogenesis, which is huge, but there's also capillarization. You're literally growing a denser network of tiny blood vessels around your muscles. Think of it as upgrading from country roads to a multi-lane superhighway for oxygen and fuel delivery.
So we're improving the plumbing and the power grid at the same time.
Exactly. And because of all that disciplined zone 2 work, you're also achieving fat adaptation. You become a master at tapping into your body's vast fat stores for energy.
Which saves the premium fuel, the glycogen, for when you need to hit the accelerator in zone 5.
It is the definition of optimized asset management for your body.
So how do we put this all into practice, especially when time is the scarcest resource?
The first place to look is the elite model, what the pros do. It's called polarized training, or the 80-20 rule.
80-20, what does that mean?
It means they spend a staggering 80% of their total training time in Zone 2, super easy, and only 20% in Zone 5, very, very hard. They almost completely avoid the middle.
80% easy. That just sounds so counterintuitive. How does a busy, driven professional actually force themselves to do that?
You have to start by setting a hard cap on your easy runs. Set an alarm on your watch for your Zone 2 ceiling, say 145 BPM. The rule is non-negotiable. If you hit it, you walk until your heart rate comes back down.
That's a tough pill to swallow for the ego.
It is. But that discipline is what builds a massive aerobic engine.
Okay, what about the extreme time-crunched scenario? I only have 30 minutes.
In that case, intensity has to compensate for the lack of volume. A 30-minute Zone 2 run doesn't provide a huge stimulus, so you'd be better off doing Zone 4 or 5 intervals, a HIE session, to get the most cardiovascular bang for your buck.
But you still need that aerobic base.
You do. You'd still need to find at least one longer, slower session per week to maintain that foundation.
And the guide offers a great micro model for someone with about 3 hours a week.
It's a fantastic balanced approach. One 45-minute session of high-intensity intervals, one 45-minute tempo run in Zone 3 or 4, and one 90-minute-long slow run strictly in Zone 2.
That hits all the systems.
It does. It builds speed, pushes your threshold, and deepens your aerobic base without leading to burnout.
Which brings us to risk management. Overtraining syndrome, or OTS. Sundride calls it physiological bankruptcy.
A perfect description. We've talked about the elevated morning RHR. But there's another, more sinister warning light: heart rate suppression.
What's that?
That's when you are pushing as hard as you can, you feel like you're at a 10 out of 10 effort, but your heart rate just won't go up. It won't get into Zone 4 or 5.
The system is just too fatigued to respond.
Your engine can't redline anymore. It's a major sign of deep fatigue. And it's usually accompanied by things like insomnia, nagging muscle soreness, and just general irritability.
It's so important to remember that recovery isn't just time off.
No. Recovery is when the training actually works. It's when the adaptations happen. If you skip the scheduled maintenance, the machine will break.
Okay, let's wrap this up. If you're going to start tomorrow, what are the top 3 takeaways from this deep dive?
Number 1, trust the data. Your watch and your heart rate don't have an ego. Listen to them, especially when they tell you to slow down.
Number 2,
Strap up for intensity. If you're doing hard intervals, use a chest strap. The data is just more reliable.
and number 3,
Consistency. A good plan that you follow consistently will always, always beat a perfect plan that you only do now and then. And Zone 2 is what allows for that consistency.
Excellent. Okay, so here's a final thought to leave you with. If efficiency is your ultimate goal, the hardest part of this entire system isn't the gut-busting Zone 5 workout. It's the mental discipline to purposefully slow down, to kill your ego, and to stay in Zone 2. So ask yourself this. How much of what you call hard work right now is actually just wasted energy and fatigue in that gray zone? And what mental shift do you need to make to truly unlock the long-term potential of your engine?
Apply the data, manage the asset. The engine will thank you.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.